Good evening, everyone. My name's Jamie. I'm from All Movies Fresh. So before you go check out the video, go smash the like and subscribe button. So today we have a big interview. We're joined by Tiger King and also the CEO of the Big Cat Sanctuary, Carol Baskin. How are you doing today, Carol Baskin?
Are you cool cats and kittens? You know, Jamie, I love that name. I named my own daughter Jamie.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you very much. It's
Spelled
a
the same too.
coincidence. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's it. So it's been a year on since the big release of Tiger King. How has your life impacted since its release?
Well, it's been
Yeah,
crazy. We were very well known in our community in the animal protection world for the
yes,
last 30 years.
mhm,
But outside of that, people had never heard of us. And
yeah.
so it's been really interesting to see so many people around the world watch a
Okay,
television show and just take it at face value and think that I'm this horrible, home wrecking, gold digging
yes,
murderer based on the narrative that they saw. So that was difficult to deal with. But as
yes,
people have done a little bit of research, it doesn't take much for people to figure out that they were lied to in Tiger King and that I'm
hmm,
nothing like the character that was portrayed there. So it kind of came in like a wave, everybody all
yeah.
hot and heavy and angry, and then it has receded as people have done some due diligence.
Did it? Did it? Do you find it's mentally impacted you on in a good way or a bad way from all the response you've received from this show?
I wouldn't say that it's mentally impacted me in either direction
Okay,
because, on the one hand, people were being so hateful, but I know they
yes,
just know me. And
yes,
so what they thought or what they believed really didn't define who I was. And as people have found out the truth, it's like, well, that's nice that they know the truth. But the real
yes,
issue, the real losers
hmm,
in Tiger King were the cats. And
yes.
they could have done so much more to let people know what a horrible industry cub petting is and how that's causing us to lose the tiger in the wild. And
Yes.
they just missed that opportunity. In fact, my husband and I binge watched it, and when we got done, we that's the
Yeah.
first thing we said was, "What a missed opportunity." So that's a shame, but at least now people like you and interviews that
Yes.
we're doing, people are talking about
Mm.
saving the tiger. So some good's
That's
coming.
it. I mean, it seems like, although it was a lot of there was a lot of shift between back you and Joe. We seen sort of in Joe's view that it was they were treating them like toys, sort of things, as opposed to what they actually should be. What was your opinion on that?
Well, this has been a horrible industry that we have been aware of for most of our history. We started
Yes.
in 1992, and that was before the internet. So we bred some cats. We never bred lions or tigers, but we bred some of the more rare cats like ocelots back from about 94 to 97. But
Okay.
once the internet came along and we discovered none of these cats that are being bred in captivity are ever
Yeah.
going to go free, they don't serve
Hmm.
any conservation value, we stopped breeding. And then we
So,
realized that there was this huge industry, cub petting industry, where people pay to pet cubs. And that's producing hundreds of these big cats every year just here in the US. It's
okay.
also very popular in South Africa. And
That's,
just 2 days ago, South Africa announced that they're going to quit. So
oh
that was
wow.
really good news. Yeah, the environmental minister said that it was a
Yes.
horrible blight on the industry there, that they
Yeah.
were doing cub petting and then walking with the juvenile sized cats and then
Yeah.
shooting them in cages when they got to be old enough to be a trophy. And
Oh
that was
wow.
such a bad image for them. She was like, "Oh, we are so done with this." And so I
Yeah.
thought it was really brave of her to stand up against that entire trophy hunting industry.
That's it, because you've been doing it since 17 years of age. Was your main goal behind going into sort of this looking after the big cats is to prevent them from going extinct? Because we see a lot of animals, not just tigers and cats and other cats as well, going into extinction, but other things as well. Was that one of your main reasons of motivation?
Yeah, I had done the bobcat rehab and release since I was 17 because I
Yeah.
was interested in saving domestic cats and kittens from being killed in shelters due to overpopulation. So my
Okay.
real main mission was to do very aggressive spay and neuter programs to bring
Yeah.
down that population so they don't end up being killed in shelters.
Okay.
But the um, the Bobcat rehab came as a result of always being at vets offices. And so
Yeah.
they like, we just pinned this cat's leg back together, but it's going to take 6 months for her to go free. Can
Okay.
you take her and nurse her through that? And so that's how I
Yeah.
got into that. But by the time I was 30 something,
Hmm.
my late husband and I ended up at an auction, and the guy next to me was bidding on a bobcat. And I
Awesome.
leaned over to him and I said, when that cat grows up, she's going to tear your face off. And he said, I'm
Yeah.
a taxidermist. I'm just going to club her in the head in the parking lot and make a den
Oh,
decoration out of her. So
no,
that's how we
no.
got started in captive cats who couldn't be set free.
Yes.
And then we rescued 56 bobcats off a fur farm, and then 28, and then 22 off of another fur farm. And that got
Yeah.
all of the cats out of all of the fur farms in the United States. And then people started calling and saying, would you take my lion? Would you take my tiger? And I'm like, what? What are you doing with lions and tigers?
Yeah.
So every time something like that happened, I kept thinking, I can fix this. I can fix this. How hard could that be?
Right.
And now it's been, 20 years that we've been trying to fix that. So
Yeah.
it's been a long, hard slog, but we're this close now. And I really do
That's
think
it.
that will pass this year.
Okay. Do you believe that he's trying to put this sort of blame on you to distract what had really been happening at his zoo, so the media could turn their attention towards you and turn it away from him to make him look the innocent person?
Yeah, that was done in Tiger King, but this has been happening for the 30 years of the sanctuary because
Okay.
as as I would go out and talk
Yeah.
to the media and say these cats shouldn't be bred for life in cages, none of them
Yes.
can be set free, they don't serve any conservation value. They
Okay.
go to people like Joe Exotic or Doc
Yeah.
Antle or Mario Tabaro, and they say, well, she killed her husband and fed him to tigers. And all of a sudden, the media is like, oh, that's a juicy story. Let me go talk
Yeah.
about that instead. And they've forgotten all about cats. And of
Yes.
course, I didn't kill my husband and I didn't feed him to tigers, but that's the only way, that's the only argument those kind of people have for
Okay.
what to do is to completely divert the attention away to something
Yeah.
else so that they don't have to explain why they're doing the things they are to the animals.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting one. You've actually created, we've just seen on the news that you've created a new cryptocurrency, dollar cat, and that allows, fans and also people to buy products from your sanctuary. What was the reasoning behind that?
We wanted to create a currency. It's not a currency, but it's a
Okay.
currency.
Yes.
And we did it as an entry point for what I see as the ultimate end goal. So the
Okay.
ultimate goal, I believe, is going to be, imagine this, you come home from work, you are
Yeah.
just tired as you can be. You put on your headset and all of a sudden you see that you can pick the Himalayas. And so you look
Okay.
at the map on the cameras there and you're like, I see camera number 72 down there had some activity. So you hop over to camera 72 and
Yeah.
there is a snow leopard mother raising her cubs in the wild where she belongs, doing what she
Yes.
does naturally. So imagine now if you had these cameras all around the world in habitats where all these different species live, and people are paying subscription fees and advertising fees like you see on YouTube channels, and
Yes.
all of that money goes into the local environment so that
Okay.
everybody becomes a game warden to protect those cats in their environment. You
Yes.
can't have a lion or a tiger or a jaguar or a snow leopard in an environment, in a natural environment,
Mhm.
unless the entire ecosystem is operational because they
Yeah.
have to hunt and there has to be prey and you have to have forests and clean water and all of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it creates a planet that we can all live on. And
Yeah.
the people who have those natural resources have a reason to want to protect them more than anything else because that's what generates the bulk of their income. So if you see it at the macro level of this is what I want to see all over the planet, the next step down from that is probably metaverses, virtual reality, where all of these people that have all these great ideas and these
Yeah.
technical minds of people that know how to build this stuff, we all come into a Burning Man virtual environment sort of thing where we get to know each other and
Yeah.
we exchange ideas and we work out these arrangements all around the globe with these countries. So then you bring that down another level, you have to fund all of that. And so we're
Okay.
doing all of these NFT sales to try and
Yeah.
do that. And the first step, I think, is this cat coin. And so it's kind
Okay.
of like your membership to our big world
Yeah.
idea. And people can go over to rally.io and get the cat coin there.
You also outside of outside of the cat sanctuary, you also with Dancing with the Stars. How did that go? Is that something you wanted to show off your ability? You know, your dancing skills that we never knew that Carol had.
I grew up in a fundamentally Christian family that believed that
Okay.
it was a sin to dance. So I was
Yes.
never allowed to dance. And even when I got married, I didn't dance
Hmm.
at my wedding. And
Oh.
when, yeah, I'd never danced a step. And so when Dancing
Okay.
with the Stars said that I needed to be on this show, I was like, uh, there's no way I could possibly learn to dance. And they said, oh, our dance instructors are the world's best, and they'll just sling you around the floor and make
Yeah.
it look like you're dancing. I'm like, okay. And man, that was the hardest stuff I had ever done. Those people
Okay.
are freaking athletes. So it's
Yeah.
no wonder that I got scratched from the lineup by the third show because I could not learn to dance.
Hey, at least you did well. You know, 3 weeks is better than no weeks at all. Uh, that's the best thing ever. Would you, how were you managing, your cat sanctuary and also Dancing with the Stars? Was it something that you were able to do, or did you just have to leave behind for a couple of weeks?
Actually, I was gone for, oh man, I had to leave like the middle of August, I think, and
Yeah.
I was there through the 1st of October.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, but the nice thing about the sanctuary is that
Yes.
we actually are a model for other sanctuaries in that
Hmm.
we have trained our people so well that
Yes.
if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, this place would operate just exactly as it ever did, and it would do just
Okay.
as well as it's ever done because everybody knows their role. And so
Yes.
me being gone was like no bother at all for them.
The sanctuary's closed still to COVID. Is that still the case?
Yeah, we closed on March the 15th of 2020 because of
Okay.
COVID. And then Tiger King came out 5 days later and people said they wanted to burn the place to the ground. So it was like, okay, we are
Oh,
definitely not opening. And
yes.
now people are starting to get vaccinated. All of my staff are vaccinated, all of our volunteers
Fantastic.
are vaccinated. But there's no vaccine for the cats, and they can actually contract it and die from it. So we
Oh,
can't have
okay.
it up here until they figure that out.
Okay. What are the daily difficulties that you face running a big cat sanctuary? Is there anything that, if you could change or would change or to help improve it or, overcome these difficulties?
Oh, the biggest difficulty is
Yeah.
one that caused me to be late for this meeting today. And
Okay. Yeah.
there's nothing I can do about that. It's
No.
that these cats get old and die. And so
Okay.
we had a 25-year-old bobcat. Now, keep in mind, bobcats in the wild live to be
Yeah.
10 or 12 years old. In
Okay.
zoos, they live to be 10 or 12 years old. This cat was
Yeah.
25 years old. I've known her for
Blimey.
25 years. I mean, it's not like wasn't sure about how old she was. I've known
Okay.
her for 25 years.
Blimey.
Yeah. And so she was deaf and blind, and we had brought her inside. We have 3 hospitals on site, but
Yes.
one of the hospitals is specifically set up where it's like an entire room for the cat, so that we have
Okay.
double doors and stuff like that for these cats when they're at the end of their life. And so, her whole floor is like, this thick with soft blankets to lay in. And she has somebody come in and hand feed her on a stick because she can't find her food and take her to her water bowl and her litter box and all of that. And so
Okay.
I knew for days that she was getting close to the end. They start sleeping
Oh, no.
all day and, they just kind of slowly shut down. And then
Okay.
if there's any emergency like today where she actually had
Yes.
a seizure, they start biting. You're afraid they're going to bite their tongue. They're going to cause
Oh,
themselves
okay.
pain. And it's scary for them. They don't know what's going on when they wake up from that. And so we decided that, this was just the end for her. And even though we thought that we would have the vet out maybe 9 o'clock tonight, we didn't want to have her wait. And so we contacted
Okay.
the vet and said, can we bring her to you and put her
Yeah.
out of misery now? So that's the
Oh,
hardest
awesome.
thing for me is
Yeah.
losing a cat that's been with us for a quarter of a century. So
Okay.
it's been in our
Sorry to
life.
hear about that.
So, yeah, but there's nothing you can do to change that. I mean, people get old, cats get old.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I know you can look back at the positives as in there that she's had a good 25 years. you know, you've developed that relationship as well, and you know, you've been able to show, you know, that bond between you and the cat to other people as well, and to yourself. And it's a good, it's many memories you've created. What's so what's next for you? What's next for you? Have you got any, are there any other plans, or is it just to, you know, progress in the world and prevent extinction from these animals?
We are actually looking at doing our own program. We were
Okay.
approached by a company that has now sold the pilot to a major, I can't say who yet, but
No worries.
it's where people will be able to see it. It's not going to be
Okay.
like Hulu or something.
Okay.
Uh, and it's the whole premise of it is
Yes.
to show what we've been doing for the last 30 years. And so
Okay.
it's a reality show.
It's incredible to see how much you know, you've overcome this, and you're making a difference. You're not letting it hold you back and dwell on it. You're moving on and moving forward to create you know, something that will protect these you know, endangered animals, not just in the US but also around the world. So, you know, congratulations to yourself, Carol Baskin, and hopefully, you know, we're going to see more to come from yourself as well. And if I'm down in Tampa, Florida, I'll have to come and pay a visit down to your zoo, and hopefully they create a vaccine, you know, to protect the cats. Also, people can start coming in and visit your sanctuary.
That would be lovely.
Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon or evening, whatever time it is there. Thank you very much for joining and taking the time out to have an interview with myself.
Thank you so much.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great day. Bye bye.